Hey everyone, this is Ashton Bingham with MuseThemes.com. Today we're looking at our new Google Maps widget. Now some of you might be wondering, why do I need this if I already have a Google Maps widget available natively in Muse? Well, beginning June 11th, 2018, Google is now requiring an API key to display their maps on a website. Now this is a pretty big change as it's going to require action from anybody that's currently displaying a Google map on their website, whether that's from a pre-existing widget or even just a straight embed. Anybody using a map without an API key after the 11th of June will have their maps impacted on their site in varying ways. And that can include a low-resolution map displayed with an error message or even the map flat out not functioning. So our new Google Maps widget is a quick and effective fix for this issue, and it can be replaced on your page with minimal setup. This is the first time we've released a Google Maps widget since Muse has always had one available natively, but if you currently use the Adobe built-in Google Maps widget, you'll want to replace it since their version does not currently integrate an API key. Additionally, we've added in a great custom styling feature that uses a tool called Snazzy Maps, which will give you even more creative control. Snazzy Maps is a place where a bunch of different styles are available for Google Maps, all of which are licensed under Creative Commons and are completely free to use. You can explore thousands of map themes or even create your own and integrate it into our widget very easily, and we're going to get into that shortly. First, let's switch over to Muse, and we're just going to use a blank page for right now. And we'll dive right into our library and drag the widget out onto the canvas. And we can go ahead and adjust the sizing and placement as needed. And keep in mind that the widget is of course responsive and can be adjusted for each individual breakpoint. It also utilizes a mobile touch-friendly mode when viewed on a mobile device. So let's take a look in the settings panel. There's a handful of things to cover here, but as we can see, the very first field to fill out is our API key. So let's tackle that right now. There's a link that you need to visit to acquire your API key, and we've provided a shortcut here towards the bottom of the panel. So let's go ahead and click right here. Here in our browser, the very first thing it's asking us is what type of API key are we looking for? Now, Google used to have a bunch of different API keys, but they've since simplified things quite a bit, leaving us now with 3 categories. Here we can see maps, routes, and places. And we're able to use checkboxes here to mark which one or ones we want. For now, we're just going to do maps. Now you could select all 3 if you want, and you'd still be given just one API key. Just keep in mind that if you use an older API key that falls into a category other than the 3 new ones, it's no longer going to work. And it's probably best to just get a new one anyway, no matter what, just to be safe. So let's click continue. And if you're not logged in yet, it's going to prompt you for your Google login. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Perfect. Now let's click Get Started. Okay, so now that I've logged in, it's just reconfirming my selection of that API key type. So I'll just click Maps again and then Continue. And we can enter a project name. We'll go Muse Themes Demo. We'll accept the terms of service and click Next. And from here, you're going to be taken to your platform console. Now here I'm getting a prompt to enable and set up billing for this project. And for anyone that doesn't already have billing set up here, you will see this on your end as well. So let me explain. You're not automatically required to pay for map usage, but Google still does require the billing setup, as there is the potential to be billed, depending on your site and the volumes of traffic. Now we're going to take a look shortly at the billing information, but I do highly suggest you do your research and read through it on your own thoroughly so you fully understand it. Additionally, this is why it's extra important to not let anyone else see your API key, as it could be potentially used by other people, unless you restrict its access, which I'll also cover in a moment. But for now, let's click Create Billing Account. Okay, so now that I've set up my billing, I'm automatically given a Google Maps API key right here, to which I can highlight and copy. We'll jump back into Muse, open the panel, and paste it in the field. Perfect. Now for address coordinates, we're going to come back to this in a moment. Let's just leave our default for now. Marker title. This allows you to specify what you want the map marker to say when the user hovers their mouse over it, which is pretty cool. And I can just type something generic for now. How about our office? We have zoom level, which sets the amount of zoom for the initial load of the map. And map type gives you a drop-down with some various types of views, but we'll just leave it on roadmap for now. Now, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and give this a browser preview. Great. As we can see, once the key is entered, everything functions right out of the box and it's completely interactive, just like the Google Maps that you're used to. Now we're going to explore more of the customization features of the widget, but first I want to quickly cover a few things in the Google Maps portal before we leave the site. So let's click back over to our portal. On your left panel here, we're going to click over to APIs. And our first option here, Maps Embed API, let's go ahead and click Details. And then we'll click the Credentials tab. Here we can see our API key displayed, so let's click it to explore the settings. And inside here is where you can make restriction setting changes to your key, and I highly suggest that you do so. As I mentioned, if your API key were to get found and used by another party, your account could be held responsible for unauthorized uses, which could result in unwanted charges. Now right here under Application Restrictions, by default it's set to None, which allows usage anywhere. What I'd highly suggest is you click HTTP Referrers, which allows you to restrict the usage of the key to only websites that you specify. So once you click this option, you'll be given a field here to enter your approved sites, and you can then click Save. Now I'm going to leave this as none for right now just for the purposes of me doing this demo since I'm using it in a browser preview, but I'd highly recommend utilizing this function to protect your account and your key. Now one more thing I do want to show you, I have another tab open here with the pricing sheet I've already loaded from Google. And as I mentioned before, I strongly suggest you read all the new pricing terms carefully. Feel free to use my URL up here as a shortcut, but you can also access the pricing info from inside your portal. You can see here that static and dynamic maps for mobile as well as embedded maps give you unlimited loads for free. But there are more advanced maps here you can integrate that allow a pay-as-you-go type of structure, depending on what kind of map and how many site visits you get. So back over to Muse and inside the panel once again, let's cover the location coordinates. Now with the new API update, it's not possible for the widget to function with just the use of a generic address. It is important that you include the location's exact coordinates. So you may be wondering, well, how am I supposed to know the coordinates of my location? Well, very simply. Inside the panel here, there is a quick link here to the longitude-latitude finder tool. So let's give that a click. And here we are. Very simply, we can enter any address or even just the name of a place of business. Let's enter Disneyland, Anaheim, California. And we'll click Find. And just like that, we get our coordinates displayed. So let's select our latitude and we'll copy it. Head back to the panel, and then we'll paste our latitude. And back in the browser, we'll grab that longitude as well, and we'll paste that in the panel too. Perfect. And we can change the marker title now too if we want. I'll put Happiest Place on Earth. And let's switch up the map type as well. We can go with terrain. Perfect. Now let's give this another preview. Awesome. We have our terrain view of Disneyland displayed, and I can hover my mouse over the pin, displaying our custom title. And everything is functioning perfectly. Very last thing to cover here, Snazzy Maps. So let's jump back to that panel once again. All I need to do is expand the drop-down for Snazzy Map styling and click Enable. And then we just have to grab our styling code from the Snazzy Maps website, which you can find here on the panel as well with this little link shortcut. So we'll click Snazzy Maps. Now Snazzy Maps is a free open community, which is really cool. You can use any style you find on here for your site, and you can even create your own style in the case that you have like uber-specific colors that you need to match. Up here, I'm going to click Explore Styles, and there are tons upon tons of styles here to choose from. But once you find one you like, simply click on it, and then we just have to copy the JavaScript style array. Now, some of you might see a prompt here to copy the entire code to your clipboard. So if you see that, go ahead and just use that as a quicker shortcut. However, if you don't have Flash enabled on your browser, that prompt might not be here, just as you can see that it isn't for me. So you can either enable the Flash if you get a prompt, or simply just click Expand Code and highlight and copy the entire thing manually. Just like that. And we'll head back to our settings panel. And we can use Command A or Control A to select the entire field. And then we'll paste our new code just like that. Perfect. And that's literally all you need to do to incorporate Snazzy Maps. So let's give this one final preview. Perfect. Everything's looking great. So thanks again for watching. Remember, if you forget any of the links that you need, they're all included for your convenience at the bottom of the settings panel here. Our first three is our API key generator, our Snazzy Maps, and the coordinate finder. And lastly, we have view documentation, which takes you to the docs page for the widget, and of course the tutorial video that you're watching now, in case you need to revisit it for a refresh. These links are standard now in all of our new widgets, as well as widgets that we update. So have fun with this one, guys. If you run into any snags, make sure to hit us up in support for further assistance. Thanks again.